Awesome. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining today for LabEight Africa's first demo day with our inaugural Fall 2020 cohort. My name is Rohan, and I'm an associate here at LabEight. I'm sure that I can speak on the behalf of everyone here at LabEight that when I say it has been a fantastic 3 months working with such brilliant founders on very hard problems ranging from the investment landscape in Africa to educational, agricultural, and feminine hygiene issues. It has been a fantastic journey for the past 3 months, and for me personally, a great learning experience. We kind of started this journey back in September amidst the pandemic through technical difficulties of only meeting virtually, daily one-on-one sessions, group sessions weekly. So both the founders and the LabEight team have created something very magical here amidst everything that's happening right now. So thank you all once again for joining us. And without further ado, I'd like to pass it off to Ahmed, who is the founder and one of the managing partners here at LabEight.
Thank you, Rohan. Hey, everyone. Very excited to have you here. I've got a little presentation that I'm going to go through. We're not going to take too much time because I know everyone's excited to meet the startups and kind of learn more about our inaugural cohort. So I'm really excited and delighted that so many of you have been able to join us today. Today is a celebration. It is a celebration of LabEight's inaugural cohort, a group of amazing entrepreneurs that are working day and night to solve some of the biggest challenges faced, not just across the continent, but around the world. Today is a celebration of 4 amazing founders who will be sharing their stories with us in the next hour or so. And to you founders, I extend my heartiest congratulations. Thank you. We have learned so much from you, and we're excited to continue being part of your journey onwards. On day 1 of the program, if you recall, we started our intro workshop with the following line. An entrepreneur's journey is filled with hard work, persistence, and discipline. It's a tough life, and why people do what they do is really based on one thing. It's emotion and passion to solve a problem. And today, we're on day 90 of the program. And not only have you proven that you've got the passion and emotion to solve that key problem, but you've shown us that you are aspiring founders that will one day bring the change that this world needs. I think I can speak for all of us today when I say that we're tired of talking about the pandemic and these unprecedented times. So I'm going to spare you that talk. What I want to talk about is the resilience of Africa's tech industry. As the world is adapting to the expanding digital universe during these unprecedented times, the tech ecosystem across the continent has been booming. African-focused startup funding has crossed the $1 billion mark last year and is expected to grow and keep growing this year. African cities such as Lagos, Cairo, and Nairobi are among the top 100 emerging startup ecosystems in the world. Africa's technology ecosystems have experienced incredible growth with hundreds of programs and tech hubs supporting entrepreneurs across the continent. And international investment groups have entered the market and also made initial African startup investments over the past 2 years. Industries such as fintech, agri-tech, health tech have all witnessed spectacular growth. And all this while in unprecedented times. I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait for the precedented times. Our journey started 9 months ago. A group of enthusiastic entrepreneurs from Africa, North America, Europe, and the Middle East came together on a Zoom call. They're passionately discussing the African ecosystem, the everyday operational challenges and struggles of local entrepreneurs, from technology development to talent acquisition, community support, and investment appetite. 4 weeks later, LabEight Africa was born, a social impact-focused launchpad created as a growth solution for African-based founders seeking capital and support, and for investors who value leveraging technology towards social impact and profitability. At LabEight's Launchpad, our goal is to ensure that African-based founders at any stage from idea to rapid growth have the resources they need to build a solid foundation towards profitability and success. The Launchpad focuses on supporting startups and technologies across social impact, health tech, fintech, and edtech, and agri-tech. And our mission is to surround founders with vital resources necessary to launch their most ambitious ventures. And this is done through CXO matchmaking, technology development, business advisory and mentorship, fundraising, and hands-on growth support from the LabEight partners and team. And we know that access to and distribution of resources is key to the development of innovative ideas towards becoming category-defining companies. And we seek to support world-changing companies in Africa and founders who have the emotion and passion to solve a problem. Join their journey and support them towards exceptional growth and success. Again, thank you for joining us today and welcome to LabEight Africa's 2020 Demo Day. Back to you, Rohan.
Thank you, Ahmed. Now I'd like to introduce our next guest speaker, Michael Lawal. So Michael is an entrepreneur and an angel investor with the international partner and an international partner and board member of the World Business Angels UK chapter. He'll be sharing insight today on social impact investments and the startup ecosystem in Africa. So Michael, thank you so much for joining us today, and please go ahead whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Ron, for that. I'm unable to share my screen, unfortunately. All right, Catherine, we're good now.
That's okay.
Hi, founders. I'm just going to be very quick and sharp. My presentation is a thought-provoking presentation, and that's one thing I'm known for. I'm a Pan-African. I'm originally from Nigeria, from a Ghanaian and Nigerian parent. I believe in the future of Africa. Some of us have started screaming this out loud to the whole world 15 years ago, but no one takes us serious. But now with the likes of Paystack exiting to the likes of Stripe, we'll begin to see a new model of new capital influx into Africa. So my job is to congratulate all of you founders that have been through this tough journey as a founder myself and as a previous angel investor. It's not easy. Only the crazy ones dare to embark on this journey. And welcome to following your dream is the greatest thing you could ever do. And that's why I titled my presentation, Welcome to the Future. When you look at what I see to be the problem, the world thinks Africa is shit. And let's face it, from our leaders going to the world stage to bow and instead of negotiation, begging for aids and grants, to our citizens wanting to live at our cost out of Africa, which I am a culprit of one of those people. To all of us thinking the Messiah is going to come from the West and not looking inward in how to turn our gold around and talk about ownership. A new level of conversation is starting. And that conversation is a conversation of telling the world that Africa is not shit, but Africa is full of gold. And all you entrepreneurs that have been through this process are one of those people who are crazy enough to tell the world that this is the new dawn for Africa. And well done. Now let's talk about the problem. We grew up in an environment in Africa where there's lack of support. I lived in the UK, and here in the UK, there's a lot of government incentives that enable individual investors to invest in startups. But the reverse is the case in Africa. Most politicians and governments, legislation officers, they all want to have a stake in your company without even investing in the company, without even allowing the company to get a maturity stage. So to be an entrepreneur, it's hard. To be an entrepreneur in Africa is even harder because most times it's all yourself and no one there to support you. And that's where the likes of LabEight comes in. And congratulations to LabEight for taking such a bold step to venture into Africa. Because African entrepreneurs only need access and infrastructure and right mentorship to be able to compete with the likes of entrepreneurs in Western nations. Problem number two, lack of capital. Most African folks prefer to invest in get-rich-quick syndrome, which if you travel the length and breadth of Africa today, you will see is all painted all over the world. From Ponzi schemes of gold trading to Ponzi schemes of Bitcoin to all sorts of Ponzi schemes all across Africa. And that explains problem number three, poor financial education. Folks don't know the real way of building wealth. And in doing so, because there is no conducive environment to do so. A lot of people becomes victims of all these unnecessary Ponzi schemes. The solution is you, and that's the congratulations. So congrats to yourself, or the entrepreneurs have been through this program. The solution Africa needs is you and I. Entrepreneurs who are bold enough to develop solutions to solve the numerous problem that is facing Africa today. And that's why we need allies as well, like folks in LabEight, like investors who are on this call today. We're not just going to listen to the pitch, we're going to support those entrepreneurs with their capital, with their advices, and with introductions to investors across the world. The timing couldn't be right, and I'll give you 2 reasons for that. Sub-Saharan Africa, home to more than 1 billion people, half of whom will be under 25 years old by 2050, and this according to World Bank. This is the same stage China was 50 years ago, because it's easy for the world to talk about South Korea and China and Singapore today as developed nations. These guys decided to make hard decisions and decided to put right policies in place, and the entrepreneurs get on the dream of building their own country. And today the rest is history. Africa is still begging the world today, but 50 years from now, the world will be begging Africa. And China is a good example to explain that to the world. Reason number 2, there's abundance of problems to be solved. I live there in London, and I belong to various startup communities and founders community. And I can tell you out of 100 solutions that entrepreneurs have developed that have become billion-dollar company, none of them can actually pinpoint one solution that solves real human problem, because there's not much problem to be solved. The real problem to be solved is in Africa, and that's why the future of entrepreneurship and innovation is Africa. And now let's look about attraction. Population is exploding, and that will give birth to human capital. And those human capital will be restless, young youths who will be dissatisfied with government, and we have in that with the NSAS in Lagos, and that's going to spread all across Africa. And in doing so, this will bring the change that we all need. Thank you all for listening to my presentation. My name is Michael Owell. I'm the founder of Sending the Money, and I believe in a future that is inclusive, and I believe that LabEight is doing a great job. And thanks to all the founders on this call today for embarking on this journey. The future of Africa depends on you and I. The Africa where we'll not go to the world stage to beg, but Africa where we'll go to the world stage to demand what it belongs to Africa. Thank you all for listening, and I wish you good luck in your journey.
Thank you so much, Michael, for that great insight. So now we'll go forward and start doing our pitches. The founders will start off with Tade Sampson from Quizac. So we will start off with a 5-minute pitch for each founder, and we'll leave around 10 minutes to 15 minutes for Q&A. We'll open up the Q&A to you guys, the audience. So if you have any questions, please type it through the chat, and then I'll sort of mediate the questions to Tade and the rest of the founders. So founders, before you start off your pitch, if you can give a brief introduction of yourselves, a 1 to 2 minute introduction, and then you can start ahead with your venture pitch. So Tade, whenever you're ready, you can share your screen and your video.
Hi, I can't share my screen. I can't put the video on.
Okay, 1 second. Yeah, we can see your screen now.
Okay, is that good without video?
Yeah, that's okay.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Tade Sampson. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Quizac Education. We started this journey back in about, I think, a decade ago. That's to be very funny enough. And that was when I was in high school. And apparently, something happened that day. I used to be the type that really do not like to learn. I do not like to read my books, but I do prefer to go to street field and play soccer with my friends. And one of these very day, I missed school lesson, which I was supposed to have after school lesson. And I went to my friend's house to call him to get prepared for the normal evening soccer. And to be honest, it's not my fault that I do not like to learn then. It's the same principle that applies to most Nigerian students and if not all African students. And this very day I got to my friend's house, I was waiting for him to get ready for the soccer match, but I was sitting, I was watching some program on their TV, and something struck me that day when I saw a program on the TV. I saw some set of students in a class and skill setting, and they were really happy, getting so engaged, learning in the classroom. And I spoke to myself like, what is it that could make these students really having fun with learning this way? But I hate learning. I don't want to see it. The same thing, because it's boring, because it looks so much like, it's not fun in this part of the world. So it showed another student who was homesick, and he was basically crying for missing class. That's to show the level of fun these students get when they are learning in their respective classrooms. So it struck me that day, and I got to a state of they've really deprived of the basic concept of learning in this part of the world. And I told myself, okay, well, is it that we just take it like that, or we find a solution to this problem by making learning as fun as possible for students that are going to be coming after me, and even for myself. So fast forwarded about 10 years back, obviously, we started a solution called Quizac. And today, I'll be presenting to you Quizac. So before the presentation comes, of course, I'm going to present to you a story. And my story begins with a student that is called Roland. Meet Roland. Roland is a student but finds it very difficult concentrating on his studies. This basically has affected his studies, and his parents feel so sad about this and feels they should take control by forcing Roland to read his books, only for Roland to doze off just 10 minutes after. But in contrast to this, Roland feels very agile and motivated whenever he picks mobile games on his parent devices. But Roland's low attention to learning and high attention to gaming continues to affect his studies. However, everything has changed when we introduced Quizac to Roland. Quizac combined gaming and learning, giving Roland the joy of an interactive studies, which helps him improve his academic performance and makes him better pass with his parents once again. At Quizac, our goal is to change the learning narratives of millions of African students using games. But under the hood, we are combining amazing learning principles such as the principle of active recall and the principle of optimum inter-repetition interval, which helps us build powerful cognitive model that gives our user the advantage of recalling twice compared to traditional learning model. The way Quizac works is very simple. Students download the app, pick a topic according to their class, match up with their classmates, and we throw them questions they're likely to have forgotten. All this happening in a very fun and interactive manner. Since our pilot launch in 2019, we've had over 10,000 users on our platform, over 300,000 Naira in revenue, 5,000 monthly active gameplay, and we're growing 20% month over month. Our target audience for now include students in high school, but over time, we are planning to expand to corporate organizations and to every individual that finds fun in gaming, which should help them improve their productivity. Our business model is very simple. We sell license between $200 and $500 to schools and corporate organizations, and parents pay an in-app subscription of just $3.5 per student per month. With this, in our year one, we're projecting to do $125,000. In our year 2, we're projecting to do $500,000. And in our year 3, we're projecting to do $2.5 million. Here is our roadmap. We started Quizac in 2019. And by 2022, we're looking to prepare Quizac scale across multiple languages in order to scale across Nigeria. We've discovered some amazing competitors who are doing similar thing in the industry, but we believe that our competitive advantage lies in the fact that we are the only player with a fully gamified learning platform. And plus that, we're building a mastery point of individual intelligence to better improve how learning happens, not just on Quizac alone, but for each individual. Today, we're seeking seed fund. And what are we going to be doing with this? We hope to use it to expand our marketing, strengthen our engineering, and be able to expand to corporate organization as well. At Quizac, we believe that the future of learning is voice. And this is why we're introspectively deploying Quizac in the voice technology devices like Alexa and Google Home to be able to make learning more fun and engaging for the students in the classroom. Me, the founding team, including myself, Freddy Samson, who many years ago, I was in the same shoe as Roland, finding it very difficult to learn. But then I have devoted my past years, 10 years, to learning technology to be able to build this solution for not just myself or Roland, but for millions of students who are facing similar problems. And here we have my CTO, Alayo Uzain, with over 8 years of experience in cloud infrastructure. I meet our Android lead, Hawogbemi Tobi, who has been developing complex solutions for mobile in the past 5 years. Here we have our advisory team, Jason and Hamad. Jason is a Wall Street veteran and an angel investor, while Hamad is a technology enthusiast who has co-founded 4 startups and has helped many others launch across the world. Meet our support team, Toby and Victoria. These are the set of individuals who are helping us channel our core value across social media. And together as a team, we believe that learning should never be an affliction. It should always be fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Tade. So I'll give a couple of seconds for the audience to ask any questions to the chat if they do have any. In the meantime, for the founders, the setting has been fixed for your video. So Tade, you can fix, I believe you can turn on your video right now. And for the founders pitching afterwards, you should be able to use the video as well. Perfect, there you go.
Yeah, my video is back.
Here's Tade.
Nice to meet you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, while we start kind of getting questions roll in, I've got a question for you, Tade. Tell us about what is your unique value proposition in comparison with other type of educational platforms and apps targeting students? Because there are many around the world that do similar things. What makes you so special? And I think we're losing Tade.
So the problem they have is a problem of scaling. So they concentrate more on curriculum, which inhibit them to scale into different countries. And for the international competitor, one of their problems is that they are not curriculum bound. And the consequence of this is that whenever you learn on some of these platforms, you can't really correlate your learning to your curriculum. So when I was using some of these platforms, I had a lot of false positive learning. So what we have done with Quizac is that we have combined the local advantage with the international advantage, which is what is missing from those two pieces, and we've combined it together. So on Quizac, we are curriculum focused, which is absent from major international competitors. And with that curriculum focus, we at the same time, we're open to international scaling, which is very, very absent in the local competitor currently. So that's basically our unique value proposition on Quizac.
Awesome. Thanks, Hadi. A question from the audience. Daniel is asking, does the model or version of the phone cause any restrictions? As well, is it available for the iPhone?
Thank you, Daniel. So for now, we're not available for iPhone. We are just available on the web and for Android. But part of our 2021 early plan is to be able to build Quizac on the iOS platform. We're working day and night to make that possible.
And we've got a question from Alex. Have you considered exploring partnering your application with any international online tutoring services?
Okay, so in terms of general partnership, because we are still very early, we're trying to test the water and be able to build a product market fit on Quizac before we start, partnering with international tutoring platforms. But in terms of the likes of organizations, corporate environments that are affiliated with learning, yes, we have some couple of ongoing partnership with them currently.
Awesome. Ali is asking, the 5x growth revenue per 5x growth revenue per year, is that an optimistic projection, or is that too optimistic?
Sorry, I didn't get his question.
Ali's asking, is the 5x revenue growth per year, is that growth rate too optimistic?
Oh, okay. So for our first year, we are targeting a projection. It's based on the fact that we're just targeting schools and students alone, which is basically B2C model. But by 2021, our model shift to targeting corporate organization, which is a B2B model. And most of our revenue are going to be coming from corporate organization. And that's why at year 2 to 3, you see that we have a skyrocket of revenue. And that's why that is happening. We're not just going to be targeting B2C by year 2 and year 3. We're going to be targeting B2C as well as corporate organizations as well.
And an additional question from Ali on top of that is that he's asking what your profit is on the $2.5 million revenue in year 3.
Okay, so in terms of that, we in our year 3, we are going to be having a margin is normally around 40% by year 3, which is going to grow after year 3, basically.
Who are your competitors in Africa, Tade?
Also, currently, it's just funny that I might say we do not have a direct competitor, but those that I feel are doing something related to the gamification in Africa currently are platforms like Niger Kids and Gidimo. These are the set of 2 guys I'm actively following that are doing something similar to Quizac in the gamification sectors of education.
And what subjects and curriculums are covered on your platform, Tade?
Okay. So the way I'm going to answer that is currently, like I said, we are focused on high school for now. But the way we built Quizac is that Quizac is a tool. We're offering Quizac as a tool to students, corporate organizations to make, to make it productive for their needs. And for now, we're putting Quizac is a contributor on Quizac itself. So we're putting a lot of subjects around high school, from physics, biology, whatever subject, we're putting it on Quizac. But that doesn't mean that any end user that Quizac do not have the access to do so. Quizac is an open platform. It's a tool. Anybody can create their game. Anybody can add their subject. Anybody can add their topic.
Awesome. Thank you, Tade. I see that Michael Lawal has his hand raised for a question, I'm assuming.
Yes, well done, Tade. That's a great presentation. Just a couple of observations for you, because I know you will be going through the gruesome of raising money on the global stage at some point. Keep your story very short. You spend too much time trying to explain your story. Investors probably have like 2 minutes. If you don't hook them in within that 2 minutes, you actually will lose them. These guys, in as much as they care about your market, they care about how they're going to make their own 10x money. So try and talk about what they want to hear. How huge is the market? How big is it? And what percentage are you looking to capture there? And I haven't been an angel investor in the past, and they don't like when a founder says, we have no competitor. There is a competitor. It's probably you've not found them in your market niche. So try and identify those risks that are competitors in the market, but try to spend more time on why you're different, your differentiation, how you intend to kind of capture that market and scale out of Africa. Well done. You've done well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. One more question from Ali. He's asking, are you using / will you use AI to adjust the level of interaction with students, or is every subject static?
Thank you for that. So on Quizac, every subjects are not static. So that's one of our unique value proposition, to be honest too. So like I said, we are piggybacking on cognitive science concepts like the theory of active recall and the theory of optimum interpretation. And what we are doing with this is that we're building some kind of AI cognitive model to be able to tell us what each student are really, what they need to be learning better and what they've known. So this over time is allowing us to build mastery of knowledge for these students and be able to tell them, okay, you need to be concentrating on this and you don't have to concentrate on this. So it's not static, basically, on Quizac.
We got a couple of more questions for you, Tade. And this one's coming from Jay. He's asking, does Quizac allow it so that games are created for specific schools in order to protect students and limit exposure to participants from social media and Facebook, for example?
Sorry, can I get that question again?
So does Quizac allow it so that games are created for specific schools? So, because you were talking about your partnership with schools and how you set it up for schools. Can you elaborate on that?
Okay, so yes, and a short answer, but to explaining that, when schools registered on Quizac, we're giving them the opportunity to be able to create their own games. So when they create their own games, it should not be available on a home public platform. It will just be pertinent to students that are in that schools alone. So when they register on Quizac and they tell us that they're in these schools by joining the school via the school's organization, the school code, they would be able to play just those games that are created for their schools. I would not be exposed to every games on Quizac, basically.
Awesome, thanks, Tade. And just in respect with time, this is going to be the last question from George. How does Quizac view government involvement in the company's economic affairs? So risk/strategy question. It's like in that area.
Sorry, can I get that question?
How does Quizac view government involvement in the company's economic affairs? And he's posing it as a risk/strategy question.
How does Quizac
view government involvement in the company's economic affairs?
Oh, okay. So yeah, to be honest, part of what we are really sensitive to currently is government policy, and the way we're trying as much as possible to do that is by creating Quizac to be more of a B2C and not totally affiliated with schools, in order for governments to today declare policy that would really affect our operation. So if Quizac are just apps that are going to be available for each student, it will be very difficult for any government policy to just come today and say Quizac is not going to be operational again, basically. So we are of course, we still keep working around that, but we know it's one of those things we are really sensitive to at Quizac currently.
Awesome. And actually, one question just slipped in from Ali, and I think this is an interesting one. Who in your team creates the actual content? And is anyone in your team has a formal background in education?
Thank you so much. So what we currently do is that we have contributors. We have in-house contributors who are experts in different topics. They are teachers, they are tutors, and of course they work in-house for us to create some of this content. Some of them has over 10 years of experience tutoring and teaching. So they do this for us, and we as well, we outsource some of this content creation as well to different contributors online. So if you go to Quizac, contributor.quizac.com, it's a platform that is open to any contributor to come on Quizac and start creating questions. That's after we vetted them and we know that they're really, really an expert in whatever subjects they are proving to be an expert in currently.
Awesome. Thank you, Tade. Great job as always. And thank you everyone for the questions. Now we'll be moving on to Grace and her company, OneFarm-Tech. So OneFarm is an agri-tech company solving delivery and logistic issues within the local farm produce supply chain. So Grace, whenever you're ready, if you can share your screen and turn on your video, and we can head into the pitch.
Okay, good. Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Grace.
Yeah, hello. Okay, I am, hold on. Okay, sorry. Okay, my name is Grace, and I'm the founder of OneFarm-Tech. So, okay, so I will start my presentation if everyone is happy.
Yep, go
Okay.
ahead, Grace.
Yeah, okay. My name is Grace and I'm the founder of OneFarm-Tech. In 2006, I accompanied my mom to the local farmers market where I witnessed something interesting, yet sad. My mom bought a basket of tomato for a shocking cheap price that even as a child, I knew to be over 200% more expensive in cities like Lagos. I never forgot the experience, but rather I started learning about the unfair and overwhelming dominance of middlemen in the agricultural supply chain in Nigeria. In 2019, I ventured into full-time farming where I focused mostly on the supply of farm produce from farmers to consumers around Nigeria. And during that time, I encountered some of the problems I've encountered over 14 years ago. Some of the problems are the problems of fragmentation, high rates of insecurity in the rural areas, a lack of logistics for transportation of farm produce. And OneFarm-Tech was conceived as a solution to cut down fragmentation while connecting the farmers directly to the consumers around Nigeria, to reduce the risks of excessive movement for buyers around Nigeria, and of course to provide a cheap logistics option, which OneFarm intends to partner with farm logistics companies around Nigeria for that purposes. How our products work, currently OneFarm is being run offline, but when our online platform comes to life, what will happen is farmers who have account with us would be able to upload their farm produce on the platform. And once they've been confirmed by OneFarm, they will be made visible to the public, while the consumers can easily browse available farm produce, compare and review prices, select and pay for their choice farm produce. The agricultural market is said to have an enormous opportunity at the moment, and the African market is estimated to be worth $1 trillion by 2030, while the Nigerian market is currently valued at $117 billion. OneFarm initial target market is 0.2% of the current Nigerian market size, which is $2.3 million. Over the past year, OneFarm has successfully processed a minimum of 60 orders weekly, and we have equally connected over 20 rural farmers, vegetable farmers to be precise, with over 50 buyers around Nigeria. And our financial model is simple. We charge a 15% on every successful transaction that goes through our platform. Our financial projection for the next 3 years is as follows. For the first year, we project $420,000. By the second year, $1.4 million, and by the third year, $2.3 million. And of course, we're being conservative with our numbers. OneFarm believes that competition only brings efficiency, and as such, we have identified Secure, AgroCenter, and Twiga as our competitors around Africa. Our competitive advantage, of course, is that we provide the farmers with an alternative market for them to sell their farm produce, financial inclusion because they get to decide how much they sell their farm produce, and of course, an opportunity for them to sell their farm produce even ahead of harvest. OneFarm is asking for a pre-seed round that would enable us expand our marketing team and equally develop our products when we go online. We're equally looking for partners that would help us educate farmers on alternative farming method that will increase productivity and efficiency in the sector. Our roadmap so far, in 2020, OneFarm was able to onboard farmers on our offline system that we use currently. We've equally been able to recruit some team members that should be joining us soon. And for 2021, for our first quarter, we look for completing our partnership deals that we're already talking to microfinance bank and logistics company. And by the second quarter, we look to launch our beta version of the platform and equally onboard 50 farmers and get weekly orders of 200 orders. And by last quarter of 2021, we hope to be able to deliver 500 weekly orders and 200 and onboard 200 farmers. For our team, OneFarm is made up of myself currently, who is the CEO and the founder. I have a good working knowledge of the agricultural sector in Nigeria, and I believe in using technology to solve some of the problems that have dominated the sector. I have my quality control officer who helps me check with the farmers that our goods meet the standard that we promise our customers to deliver. We equally have our CTO and a product developer that should be joining us before the end of this year. And our advisory team is a LabEight African team, which is made up of awesome individuals that will help advise us throughout our journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. As the audience starts to fill in questions, ask questions, I have one for you. Okay. I know you mentioned this in your pitch, but can you give us more information and detail on OneFarm's target markets, please?
Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, for OneFarm target market, first we have the farmer aspect, and then we have the consumer aspect. For the farmer, we're looking at rural farmers. We're targeting rural farmers in Nigeria who don't have access to a market. And then on the consumer hand, we're looking at B2B businesses, say hotel, restaurants, those type of people, and equally households, bigger households will equally be our target market. Thank you.
Thanks, Grace.
Grace, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
I'm sure since you're dealing with produce, there might be issues with bad orders or produce that isn't up to standard. This stuff happens. How do you usually deal with these types of situations, especially that, you know, Nigeria is a massive market and things can take, you know, can cause issues.
Okay, thank you. For our bad order, what we've been dealing with so far offline is we replace those bad orders for our customers. But what we're going to do moving forward, which we're already working on it, is insurance policies where people, those farm produce can be insured. And the good news is we have a good number of companies that are interested in doing that with us.
Got it. And in regards to your target market, you work with both on a B2C and B2B front, like hotels, restaurants, and also families. How have you seen, or how would you split your market in terms of percentage between families and between the B2B, and which one do you think you'll end up focusing more on next year?
Okay, currently is 60 to 40%, 60 to the B2B and 40 to the B2C. But moving forward, because we're looking at more coverage now, and if we have, of course, one farm, when we expand, we'll have more hands to help. So we'll be able to take more on the B2B. So next year, we look forward to having more of a 70 to 80% B2B and 30 to 20% of a B2C.
All right, fantastic.
Okay.
Oh, we've got a question.
Okay.
From Ali. He says, great presentation. This seems to be direct-to-consumer model. How do you handle fresh fruit with small orders? Wouldn't shipping costs be way too high?
Okay, thank you. What we currently do is we take orders twice a week to different locations. So that kind of limits to the number of time you can order. So for the small orders, yeah, we do have small orders, but we have like 2, 3, 4 small orders going to the same location. So it kind of mitigates in that sense. So we restrict the number of days we take those type of orders.
And what about shipping costs?
Oh yeah, for the shipping costs, currently we have our own vehicle we use, and in specific cases we use second-party companies. So in some cases, if you buy a large quantity, one farm you get your delivery free, but for smaller quantities, the consumers get to pay for it.
Nice. Okay.
Thank you.
While we wait for more questions coming in, oh, we've got one. From Thanos. Great pitch, Grace. What advantage edge does one farm have over existing produce middlemen?
Okay, thank you. The advantage we have is the fact that we are giving the farmers an opportunity for them to have a say in selling their farm produce, unlike what we have currently, where the middlemen, what they do is they go down to those communities, underprice the farmer, buy the farm produce below the market rate, and go to the cities and sell them above the market rates. So what we're doing is we are impacting the farmers directly by giving them that power to determine the price of selling their farm produce.
Awesome, Grace. Another question from Ali. He's just wondering how the transaction works. So he's saying that do you buy from the farmer and after you get, do you buy from the farmer after you get the customer's order and then sell it to the buyer? So he just wants more insight on the transaction.
Okay, thank you. What we do is we don't buy from the start. We don't buy from the farmers. What we do is the platform will enable the farmers display whatever farm produce they have. So the consumer comes there and see what has been displayed on the platform, and they make a decision or a choice of what they want to buy. One farm does not buy the farm produce from the farmers, just to reiterate.
Awesome. And he's adding another question on top. So he's asking if you process orders twice a week, doesn't it mean you actually carry inventory? So how do you store the inventory and where?
Okay, thank you. We don't at the moment. We have a working arrangement with the 20 farmers we work with. So they know for Tuesdays and Fridays our delivery days. So by Monday evening, for farm produce that have a longer lifespan, they start harvesting them. But for the ones that don't, by that Monday morning, they harvest as early as possible. Then we make sure they get delivered that same Tuesday. So for now, we don't have any storage facility for that. Yes, we'll look into that in the future, but for now, we work with the farmers, so the farmers are aware that this is when this farm produce will be needed. So they're pre-arranged before the harvest date.
Awesome, thanks, Grace.
Grace, we've got Dina asking you a question. Are middlemen a problem to OneFarm-Tech? How do you manage them if they're a challenge?
the middle guys, they can be a challenge, yes, but the good news is what they will try to do typically is make the farmers not cooperate with one farm, so to say, so they can have access to those farmers. But the good news with one farm is we're not restricting the farmers, rather we're giving them the power to decide. So on a very good day, you should go with the person that is giving you a choice to determine how much you're selling your farm produce as compared to someone who underpriced that farm produce. So yeah, that's a challenge, but we believe with the approach of one farm, that shouldn't be much of a problem.
Another question from Thanos. He's asking, since you've started operating, how quickly have you been growing month to month?
Very fast. If I may say now, sound like a bit of bragging, but right now we can actually contain the others we have. So we're trying to grow our team really quickly. So we'll be able to meet up with the others we have. So yeah, we've actually been growing month to month, and most of our marketing right now, it's been by referral. So we believe that what One Farm is doing, it's good enough for people to refer other people to us.
And in terms of the onboarding, is the growth mostly from consumers or the farmers?
Both sides, mostly from the consumers, but the farmers as well. When we did our last outreach, we have a number of them right now that they're waiting for us to start dealing with them.
Awesome, thanks.
And we've got another question for you, Grace, from Chrissy. Nice pitch, Grace. Do you envisage any challenges with the logistics of getting produce from farmers to consumers?
Yes, that in it is a big challenge, so to say, first before I answer that. But what we're doing currently is we had a vehicle that we use for that purpose, but of course it's not enough. So we have partners that we use. There are some logistics company that they're dedicated to delivering farm produce currently in Nigeria. So we partner with them to be able to deliver the farm produce. And so far what we've been doing, yeah, we've been having some positive results. More can be done in that area, but yeah, it's working for now.
Awesome. Another question coming in, basically asking if one farm aims to be selling farm produce before they are ripe for production. This could be a challenge for the buyer. So how does one farm plan to resolve this likely challenge?
Okay, for farm produce that people want to pre-buy before the harvest date, what happens is when the consumer clicks on the farm produce, because for the farmers, what we do on the platform is for every farm produce, you can tell if it's ready right now, if it's ready 2 weeks, if it's ready 3 weeks from the harvest date. So if you have the one that is pre-ordered before the harvest date, you have to come to One Farm. Once we notice that, we'll notify the buyer to say to him, okay, you know, this is so day before you get them, just to give them that notice. And once they're okay with it, we'll make sure it's pre-booked, and that farmer will be informed that, okay, when it's ready, this farm produce is going to this person because they've already notified their interest in buying it. And of course, they pay for the farm produce as well.
I've got a question for you from George.
Okay.
Are you trying to provide farm producers an international trade platform or exchange platform?
In the future, yes. Right now, we're just trying to start with the rural farmers and the consumers in Nigeria. But yes, that's something that One Farm has a dream for in the future.
I think that would be fantastic.
Thank you.
And a next question from George. And this process should be automated. He's saying that this process should be automated through computer code.
Yes, it should be automated as soon as our CTO comes on board, which we hope very soon too. So yeah, it should be.
Awesome. Another question from Ali. He's asking, do customers actually save money by using your platform? So he understands the convenience of not going to the store, but what about their actual cost, including shipping?
Yes, they do. And I'll give you a quick example of that. Currently now, as we speak, the price of a basket of tomato in a rural area in Nigeria, it will go for 3,000 naira tops. And if you go to the urban areas, say Lagos, Abuja, you can buy that same basket of tomato easily for 15,000 naira. So if one farm, our platform, what it's doing is giving the farmer to now say, okay, I want to sell that basket of tomato directly to the consumer. You get to determine how much you're selling it on the platform. It's not going to be up to that 15,000 naira, whatever the case might be. And then we have multiple farmer accounts with the same product on the platform. So you get to choose which farmer you want to buy your farm produce from. So there's that element of competition as well.
I've got another question for you from Thanos. What is your wildest, most ambitious vision for OneFarm? It sounds like you're starting from being a farm to consumer platform, but what could OneFarm one day become?
Okay, OneFarm, I see it as a platform that one day we should be able to cater for Africa, not just Nigeria alone, because we also realize based on our research that some of the African countries have some farm produce that are unique to their countries. So we would want to equally bring Africa together as well, not just Nigeria. So that's the biggest dream.
Awesome. I think that's it for questions. So thank you, Grace. Awesome job. And thank you again for the audience for the questions.
There's one more question.
Oh,
one last one that just popped in.
Okay.
Grace, have you approached Cargill with this?
No, I haven't, not at the moment.
And if someone wants to reach you, Grace, because I know your platform is everything's happening offline and you're currently in development, how can they reach you?
Okay, we have our Twitter handles, we have LinkedIn accounts, and I can through the LabEight team.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got one more question. Okay, this is the final one. What would happen to the buyers that may not be satisfied with the quality pre-harvested farm produces?
Okay, with regards to that, again, we have our refund policy, and our agreement with the farmers from the onset is whatever you're selling on the platform is subject to meeting the quality of whatever you've described on the platform. And the pre-sale is usually 3 weeks to harvest tops. That way, from 3 weeks to harvest, you should know the quality of farm produce you're going to get. So we're not giving it a lifeline of from planting. No, we're doing it when we can see visibly, this is what this is going to be. So we're not leaving it from the scratch. So we should be able to tell to an extent that, okay, in 3 weeks time, we should have this or that.
Great stuff, Grace.
Thank you.
Thanks, Grace. So now we have Benny and Freddy, the founder of Benedicta. Benny and Freddy produces sustainable menstrual products. So yeah, Benny, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Benedicta.
My name is Benedicta Apoma, and I'm co-founder of Benny and Freddy Limited. I attended an all-girls boarding school, and by boarding school, I don't mean this. I mean this. As a junior in a government-owned high school, it meant that we were responsible for cleaning the compound, the hostels, the toilets, classrooms, etc. And the part I hated the most about cleaning was cleaning the toilet. Why? Because it was usually stuffed with used pads. Burning these pads do not take them away because they contain a high percentage of plastic. So it meant that used pads were usually littered all over the compound. My school had a population of over 2,000 girls. It meant that on the average, 16,000 pads, 12 to 16,000 pads were being disposed of monthly. A girl uses an average of 17,000 pads, tampons, and panty liners in her lifetime, which is equivalent to 250 to 300 pounds of waste, thereby contributing significantly to plastic pollution. Did you know that the conventional sanitary pad contains bleached cotton, chemicals, a whopping 90% of plastic, and dioxins? According to the International Cancer Research Center, dioxins have been labeled class 1 cancer-causing agents to human. I'd like to introduce to you Mrs. EOM. Mrs. EOM is in her mid-20s and actually was my junior in high school. She reacted adversely to this sanitary product that left her with serious rash and funny smell. Farm CEO, on the other hand, did not only react to this product, but he left her with skin peels. This is where our product comes to play. Our Fly Girl sanitary pad is an eco-friendly sanitary product that is plastic-free, dioxin-free, and 100% biodegradable. The sanitary care market is a $42 billion worth of market with an annual revenue of $605 million for 2020. The Nigerian market is worth over $51 million. This market is expected to grow annually by 1% and is one of the few markets that have been seen to thrive during recession. Why is that? Because over 50% of the population is affected by menstruation, and we all know that menstruation does not stop during recession. We currently have a manufacturing partner, and we have already started safety regulation processes with NAFDAC. We are at the product testing stage. This product has already been tested in the US, in India, and currently being tested in South Africa. Our products have been priced affordably, ranging from 80 cents to $1, which is 17 to 25% cheaper than the conventional sanitary product. We have a product market fit that has carried out campaigns to over 6 states in Nigeria, reaching over 3,000 girls, engaged over 10 NGOs, and we've opened conversations with local stores who are going to be our potential distribution channels. At Benny and Freddy, we are not afraid of competition. In fact, we believe that competition helps us bring more value to the table. Our competitive advantage includes the fact that we are affordable. We carry out menstrual management campaigns because for us, it's more than a business. The passion is important. There are no plastics in our product. It is eco-friendly. And unlike the conventional product that degrades in 300 to 500 years, our product actually biodegrades on disposal in just 180 days. Within the first year of our launch, we're anticipating an annual revenue of over $200,000, which is expected to rise to about $350,000 in the third year. We're asking for partnership. We understand that our business is a social impact kind of business that thrives more on partnership. And we're seeking for a pre-seed round that will enable us scale our product, go further with our marketing campaigns, and of course, to employ staff. The team is a combination of myself as co-founder. My background is in pharmacy, and I have over 4 years of experience doing community health projects. I have partaken of social impact programs across Africa, South America, and Europe. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about teaching young girls on sexual reproductive health and rights. The other team members have exclusive experience in business development and digital marketing. We want to change the way people use period products. We want to become a household name in the feminine care hygiene market. We welcome you to join us in making this eco-friendly solution for the world without limitation. Because with Fly Girl, menstruation is green. And by green, we mean eco-friendly. Thank you.
Thank you, Benny. Great presentation. We have a question.
Fantastic stuff.
We have a question from Chrissy. They're asking who owns the IP for your product, the intellectual property, and how do you manufacture the product?
Okay, we have a manufacturing partner. So for now, they own the IP. So once we are able to establish our own plant locally in Nigeria, they will hand the IP over to us.
Thanks.
I have a question for you, Benny, in regards to the product itself. How did you come up with the main requirements for the product, the specifications, to ensure that, excuse me, you achieve all those goals that you put in place, and how are you going to make sure that these quality standards are going to be in place, implemented in place?
Okay, in Nigeria, we have a regulatory body that regulates this kind of product, and it's called NAFDAC, and all of these specifications are in their requirements for such products. So we have already opened conversations with them. Their testing is going on, and so we're in progress.
Awesome. I think Michael has a question. Go ahead, Michael.
Awesome presentation. Your energy comes across so magnetic. From my experience, founders that have direct frustration of the problem tends to kind of break even. So I would like to have a further conversation. I can think of two people here that within the United Nations here that I might be able to introduce you to, and I might be able to add value to your journey. So happy to take this offline. Well done, great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. We have a question from Ali. He's asking, have you or will you approach government to use a product in the boarding schools? It sounds like a great sales channel.
Of course, that's actually my story. So I am very willing, once we have everything in place, I'll be willing to approach the government for that.
Thanks, Benny.
I've got a question for you. What does the future look like for you? And what's next? Well, us at LabEight, we know what your current situation and where you are, but I'd love it if you could share that kind of story with everyone and where you see Benny and Freddy going.
Okay, as we grow, we want to be able to scale our product across Africa. And not just that, our biggest dream would be to be able to manufacture locally. We want to be able to produce ourselves locally. That would be a huge milestone for us.
Awesome.
Hopefully that will happen very soon. We'll get there.
Cool. Thanks, Benny. We have a question from Iddy. He's asking, what's your plan on market adoption?
Okay, of course, we're going to utilize marketing campaigns, schools, to governments. We understand that our product is a social impact kind of business. So we're going to thrive more with partnership. So we're looking to partner with both local and international non-governmental organizations, women agencies generally. The good thing about our kind of business is that we do not just only cover women's health, but environment as well. So people who believe in saving the earth, ensuring that climate change is lowered, these are people who are willing to partner with. That's a strategy we're looking to.
Thanks, Benny.
I've got a question from Jerry. Why has this problem not been addressed by the government?
Well, I don't think I'm in the best position to answer that question. Let me just say that the government cannot solve every problem, and that's actually where we come to play, the entrepreneurs and especially the social impact entrepreneurs. So we're just coming to save the day for them, I guess.
Awesome. I'm gonna try to join these two questions together because I think they're similar. And I think you touched upon this with Iddy's question. But a question from Ali, he's asking, how will you use social channels to make people aware of the problem and your solution? And Raquel is asking, what is your strategy regarding marketing and promoting your product?
So in addition to partnering with non-governmental organizations and other government agencies that will be interested, we're also looking at distribution channels like retail channels, shops. I am a pharmacist, so apart from using grocery stores, I'm going to utilize my influence as a pharmacist to ensure that our product gets into local pharmacies across not only our city where we're resident in, but generally across the country, so that everyone can have access to them.
And to add to that, how will you be using social media? What's your social channels in terms of awareness? Because I think, and this is something that Ali touched upon and we've discussed in the past, awareness is one key area, to make sure that people understand the value of your product and to go on and purchase it. How will you tackle the awareness side of things?
Yes, as much as we're going to be having campaigns offline, we're also going to be having a lot of online campaigns, utilizing our social media platforms. Also, we're working on a website, more like an e-commerce website, where we can be able to keep in touch. Also, through our social media handles, we can keep in touch with the people, our customers, potential customers, etc.
Awesome. Another question from Ali. He's asking if you can expand on your current manufacturing and distribution in terms of costs, challenges, inventory, shipping, etc.
Okay, that is something that we are currently working on. We are willing to share more with you privately. We can't deny the fact that it's tough, especially now that the exchange rates are going up. Or we believe that with the right partnerships and the right channels, we'll be able to get this ready.
Thanks, Benny.
And there's a comment, more of a comment than a question from Idi. I suggest you to have a clear map to your go-to-market and adoption process. I believe if you have a clear plan, chances are high. Just an insight, and you could use female celebrities in Nigeria to help to spread the word. All the best.
Definitely, we're going to look into that. Thank you so much, Edie. We'll work on that.
Awesome.
Any more questions? Right, I think we're good.
All right. Thank you, Benedicta. So next up, we have Andrew from iterate. So iterate provides access to investment vehicles to middle-class Africans. So Andrew, whenever you're ready, please feel free to start.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, Andrew.
All right, how are you all doing? So, good evening, everyone. My name is Andrew, and I am the CEO and one of the co-founders of iterate. Years back, I wanted my mom to buy shares in the first ever company to list on the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. And we repeated this exercise several times. From these initial purchases, we made over 1,000% in profit. Now, we didn't become millionaires overnight, but we did make a significant amount of money. And it really led me to ask the question, why aren't more people engaged in this type of activity when there is passive income to be made? And the reality, after doing some research, is that across Africa, there are over 500 million people financially underserved. In Tanzania, we have over half of the adult population with savings, but over 80% of them do not have a bank account. Now, in most countries in Africa, a bank account is your gateway to other financial services. And what this means is that people are unable to plan for their future. They're unable to plan for their retirement. They're unable to access essential financial services. What we learned from COVID-19 is that we're not ready for financial economic shocks because we don't have mechanisms to actually create financial safety nets. And this is where iterate comes in. We're creating and empowering local African communities to actually build healthy financial lives for themselves and their families. And we're doing this in three ways. We're helping people to manage their finances. We're helping them to recover from unexpected emergencies by enabling them to plan for their retirement, build healthy, build financial safety nets, and we're enabling them to build long-term financial stability for themselves and their families. And how this works is we're providing first and foremost financial education. This is the foundation that you need to actually plan your personal financial future, and from there, then enabling people to access current investment opportunities and really take advantage of what is available in the market today. We have a big focus on security. So this really underpins our whole service offering, and we're very much conscious and aware of this. And we also are partnered with local brokers who essentially, they are licensed and regulated by the authorities. We are the technical partner. We are targeting the middle class in Africa. Now, this is a sizable population. So to begin with, we're going to be looking for early adopters. And what that means is that we're going after people who are urban-based, have disposable income, have either access to the internet or a mobile phone, and are looking to really access these type of services. And most of them will be owning some type of business or be working professionals. Now, across Africa in 2019, there was over $60 billion worth of transactions in the capital markets. $750 million came from Tanzania. So there is a lot of value. And this is what we want to unlock. for our customers, for our users. And we also want to pair this with the culture that we already have in Africa of savings in groups. How we make money is from commissions on transactions. We revenue share with our broker partner. We also have value-added services. So we have a freemium model. It allows people to trade for free, but when they want to now access additional services is when we put them onto our subscription models. And the beauty of this type of business is you do not need to have a lot of customers to really be sustainable and profitable. What we are looking at over the next 3 years is to really scale to East Africa. The infrastructure across East Africa is integrated. It means scaling doesn't necessarily need you to have a huge physical presence in all countries that we're going to go to. This is really going to help us in terms of accessing a wider consumer base. This is how our journey really started. Myself, as a consumer, I saw a lot of problems, a lot of challenges in terms of the current model that still exists today, but we also talked to other people. We asked them, what are your problems? What are your needs? And really the one thing that came out of these conversations was people were not necessarily looking 100% to access capital markets. They were looking for different ways to make money. They were looking for different ways to earn more. And this is where A-Trader is going. We're going to become a universal investment super app, and we're going to enable people to earn money in a myriad of ways. Right now already, we have visitors to our platform, and those visitors are actually accessing our platform. They're getting educational information in terms of understanding how much money they can make from bonds, in terms of understanding a few processes that already currently exist. We're going to be adding to these tools over the next 1 month, enabling people to understand how to make money from dividends. You know, what did they actually earn? These are really important questions that people right now don't have answers to. Competition across the continent is really good. There's some really great apps out there. They're doing really well, but we're different in terms of what we really want to allow people. First and foremost is anyone using any device should be able to access our platform. And then we want to enable people to access a diverse range of investment options. So partnering with other financial institutions and enabling groups to really be a part of this process as well. We've got a great team. It's over 40 years of experience. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I'm a mentor to other startups, tech startups, as a business consultant. Fadila is an HR expert with an MBA. Kenneth is the first legal officer for the Capital Markets Securities Authority, has a wealth of knowledge in capital markets, and Michael is a cybersecurity expert. We're having our senior developer CTO onboarding actually in the next week, hopefully before Christmas. We'll have finished that process, and we're also having Innovate Hub really outsourcing some of their great team to enable us to get online in time. We also have a great group of advisors. Calvin is a Y Combinator alumni. Eric is a renowned investor across Africa and in the US. Patrick was formerly the business development manager for the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, is now part of the Tanzania Institute of Bankers. And Jason has the capital markets background from Wall Street. So we're really in good hands, especially with LabEight, really helping to accelerate the process of us going forward. We're raising a pre-seed round. This is essentially to help us post-launch to enable platform development, enable to bolster our network and security infrastructure, as well as really start what is called our HISA campaign. HISA means shares in Kiswahili, to enable us to really go out there and talk to people, get them involved in this process of earning them supplementary and passive income. Ladies and gentlemen, the problem we have in Africa, I think Michael talked about it, you know, it's generations of Africans who have been locked into poor financial choices. This is a real problem that is happening today. We have the ability to change this cycle and to create a cycle of actually enabling people to take advantage of whatever meager earnings they may grow that income and create a stable financial future for themselves and for their families. So thank you so much for your time today, and I welcome any questions.
Thank you, Andrew. Great presentation as always. So as we wait for audience Q&As, I have one question for you. How can people benefit from using A-Trader, and what type of investment products are actually available on the platform as of now?
Okay. Yeah, so the first thing that we really trying to do is to educate people. So we know people have disposable income, not just in Tanzania, across Africa. We know that people have savings. So we want to be able to educate them how to utilize these savings better, how to make the most of them to actually grow their earnings. And then the second thing is really enabling people to access available investment opportunities. So for example, in Tanzania, in the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, just in the last 1 year, we've had 2 companies which have doubled their market capitalization. So the value of those companies are actually doubled. The last one just in the last few weeks. We have companies which are providing dividends, which are over 10%, you know, what we call dividend yield, so over 10% of the share price. So those are really huge opportunities that a lot of people are not aware of, and these are the type of opportunities we want to be able to pipeline to, you know, ordinary Africans across the continent.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew.
I've got a question for you from Ali. If I understand, you are saving consumers without any bank account. You are serving consumers without any bank account. How do they usually send you the money? Do they open a bank account with you and deposit the money? Are you providing banking services?
Great question, Ali. It's something I actually neglected to mention, which is that we're providing these services regardless of whether or not you have a bank account. So in Tanzania, over 65% of the population actually use what is called mobile money. And this allows you to have a wallet on your mobile phone to send money to other people who are also connected to the network, regardless of which telecom operator you're using. And it also allows transactions. So a lot of transactions, not just in Tanzania, but across East Africa, are right now being done using mobile money.
I've got a question for you. Something we always talk about is security. I think one of the main questions people always ask, and this is something that we always talk about, and I would love it if you could expand on that subject, is cybersecurity. You're dealing with people's money. How can you ensure that it's safe? How do you deal with problems that may and probably will occur in the future?
Yeah, for sure. So this is something really critical and important to us. The first thing that we did was bring on board Michael Pacheco. Michael is an expert in cybersecurity, very conversant with security auditing and penetration testing. His primary role is to really bring us up to speed in terms of payment card industry data security standards. This is the body that oversees people like Visa, American Express, as well as international standard organizations, IT security standards. So what that essentially means is that we will be at banking grade level and at the level of most financial institutions across the world. And this is how we are creating our security infrastructure. And as time goes on, we will definitely be adding additional team members to aid in areas of fraud detection, as well as be introducing algorithms which can better enable us to really have a very, very robust platform. So these are artificial intelligence algorithms in terms of detecting, you know, not just fraud, but also any security issues that may come up.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Rohan.
No, I was just gonna explain the follow-on question from Ali. He's just asking if is PayPal a competitor, and does PayPal provide similar services such as sending money to friends?
What it is that through a trader, you will be able to transact by paying using mobile money, but we do not actually carry the network that allows you to do that. We do not actually oversee the infrastructure that allows those transactions. So that infrastructure is overseen by the telcos. That infrastructure is overseen by payment gateway providers, who will also be, as a third party, providing us with, enabling us to process those transactions. So the main infrastructure that we are concerned with is the one which allows people to actually access the different investment opportunities, and that's really our core service offering.
Andrew, I've got a question from Edward. Andrew, as capital markets continue to mature in Tanzania and the rest of Africa, it seems there'd be an element of sourcing investment opportunities for clients. What sort of due diligence process would be in place to size up investment opportunities that would be added to the platform?
Yeah, great question. We're currently, one of the things that we're doing is really trying to partner with organizations, financial institutions that are regulated. So they are beholden to capital markets authorities, they are beholden to reserve banks of their respective countries. And what this means is that they really do a lot of the vetting process in terms of looking over the investment opportunities. So one of the initiatives that we're looking to implement is really to create tailored investments in partnership with our brokers. So these are investments which from day one are vetted by the Capital Market Securities Authority. It goes through quite a rigid regulatory process before that can actually go on board. So the first thing is that we're making sure is to have investment products which have gone through that rigid process and that are actually approved by the Capital Market Securities Authority. And that includes also some of the fintech partners who we're bringing on board who have really, really great investment products.
Awesome. So a question from Idi. He's asking, why will someone invest through iterate and not choose to use their money on betting platforms or quick money and returns? And this kind of leads into his second question is, what is your target market?
Yeah, great questions. So I think the thing is that what a trader is first of all enabling people to understand is the opportunity that are available and how you can access this opportunity. And we're going to really be educating people in terms of these opportunities. So betting is a really huge business across all of Africa. In Tanzania, we've seen 18 to 35 age group, mostly male, who are very much engaged in this process. You know, there's one company which is making, I think, about $1 million a week just from the income from betting. This is a constituency. This is a customer segment which we can definitely speak to and try to enable them to understand that there are other avenues and other ways to make money, and that we all know, I think, that there's no such thing as get rich quick. So that's definitely one of the key activities that we're going to be engaged in, is really going out there and talking to people and speaking to them about how they can actually make money and how they can do that through a trader. Our target our target market is people who are working professionals, urban-based. They may or may not own a small or micro enterprise. They have some form of disposable income. Usually they will be in the age range. We are looking at 30 to 65 years old. And they will own a mobile phone and normally engage in mobile money transactions. And these really are people who they're looking for avenues to earn more, to grow their income. And we are already speaking to that constituency. We're already going out there and doing what we call investment seminars. So we're going to different companies, talking to their employees. And this is really helping to get the word out and slowly get early adopters and get people on board.
Awesome. One more question from Tariq. He's asking, do other retail investing platforms operate in Tanzania?
Right. So thanks for that question, Tariq. There were some, and at the moment, what has happened is the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange has launched sort of a quasi-investment platform. It's been really interesting to see their launch because they were able to get a lot of users very, very quickly, and they're still onboarding quite a lot of users. So there's a really huge hunger for this. But generally, most of our competitors are based outside of Tanzania. South Africa, Nigeria are the primary, well, I would say the primary competitors. Kenya, Uganda have one platform in those countries each, and Egypt is where there is probably, I would say, the biggest online trading platform. But in Tanzania, for now, we will be, in terms of the service offering and the service profile we have, we will really be the only player.
Awesome. There aren't any more questions. Well, thank you, Andrew, for your presentation, and thank you for the audience for the questions as well. So I'd like to give it up for all the founders presenting today. Great job, everyone, and thank you again to the audience for your participation. It was a great session of demos. I feel everyone has done a great job in the presentation. So I'll now pass it off to Ahmed, who will say some final words.
I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. This was our inaugural and first demo day. It's been an extremely exciting 3 months. When we first started earlier in the year, and we kind of kicked off LabEight Africa, we had hundreds of startups. We went through hundreds of interviews. And when we met these 4 founders that we have today, we just knew that they are the type of founders that we want to work with, and they represent the future of, of what we're trying to achieve here and what they're trying to achieve here in Africa and globally. I just want to say thank you again for everyone. I want to say thank you to the founders for all the time that they've spent and all the hours. I want to thank Rohan and Samir for spending the tens and tens of hours every week with our founders. It all starts here. This was just the beginning, and then now I think as we progress, we're gonna be spending more time to make sure that their products are launched and scale, and we help them scale and kind of achieve the results that they want. I also want to introduce you and to the LabEight Africa team: Rohan, Samir, Jason, Joy, Emmanuel. So guys, from all of us, we want to thank you. Have a lovely rest of the day, rest of the month, and a beautiful new year. So thanks everyone. And just one last applause for the founders. Thank you, Michael, for joining us. And have a lovely day and year.